Joe St. George here in Washington. Good afternoon, good morning, Southern California. What a monumental last 24 hours, to some degree 48 hours in our nation's capital between Supreme Court news and then, of course, the bombshell New York Times story, which came out right about 5 o'clock or so Eastern time on a Sunday night. And it has been driving the news ever since. The first time that any news organization such as the New York Times received some information regarding the president's tax returns. Going all the way back to the campaign trail in 2016, there was that question to President Trump, right? When are you going to release your tax returns? When are you going to release your tax returns? And for years, the president has said, I'm in this battle with the IRS over an audit. I cannot release them. That has been the go-to line from President Trump and his campaign and from the White House. But that changed all last night when the New York Times, per some anonymous sources, and we should emphasize that, anonymous sources providing what the New York Times believe is a credible breakdown of the president's financial records. Now, we should say off the top here, the president is denying all of this.
Totally fake news. No,
the president does not believe that the New York Times has his tax returns, and he most certainly disagrees with the assertion in the article that he hasn't paid significant amounts of taxes to the United States government for several years. The article says that in 2016, he paid $750. The first year in the White House, he paid $750 in taxes. Most Americans, 99% of Americans, significantly pay more than that. And then for 10 of the 15 years prior to becoming president of the United States, the New York Times, again, according to their sources, according to this bombshell report, the president did not pay taxes because he reported losses. It's this tactic that a lot of wealthy Americans can sometimes use, that if their business operating expenses in the end are losses, that they can report that to the IRS and as a result not have to pay taxes. So if you're watching this report and you're saying, how does this impact me? How does this impact the election? The first thing that it impacts is it likely impacts one of the first questions that Chris Wallace, the moderator of the first presidential debate tomorrow night, which will be taking place in Cleveland, Ohio. It's likely one of the first questions that Chris Wallace will ask the president. He'll likely try to get a stronger answer than what we've received thus far from the White House, which again is deny. The president does not believe this is true. We'll see if the president has a different answer later today, or perhaps he'll save that for the mega TV event, and that's what it will be, the first presidential debate tomorrow night. Other than that, now the question is, does this impact the American electorate? Honestly, in talking with my sources here in Washington, if you are on the left, you're already not voting for President Trump. And there's also a good chance that you already believed, because of what you watch and read and what you consume, you already believed the New York Times story before it came out. It's what you thought for years. If you're on the right, if you're a big supporter of President Trump, a Republican, there's a good chance that you believe the president and that you believe it's fake news and you believe the New York Times is trying to influence this election and influence the conversation, dumping this story a few days before the first presidential debate. But the major impact with this story will be on those very few Americans, right? 4 or 5%, who knows how many that are out there that are truly wavering between voting for Joe Biden and voting for President Donald Trump. And when they receive their ballot in the mail or perhaps go and vote in person, does this story stick with them in that moment before they press the button, before they check either Biden's name or Trump's name on the ballot? That's where this story will go. Apart from this, to some degree, for Republicans who want a Supreme Court justice in place, this has buried that controversy. Instead of talking about the Supreme Court and Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans trying to get another justice on the Supreme Court with just days to go now, 36 some days to go before the first presidential election, instead of that, we're talking about taxes. And I'm sure to some degree, a lot of Senate Republicans who believe in the power of the Supreme Court and believe in the power of conservatives, they love the idea that they're able to slightly distract the public from this pending battle. And it is going to be a battle. But right now, Republicans have the votes. They have the necessary votes to get Judge Amy Coney Barrett to become Justice Amy Coney Barrett sometime before the election. We're looking at October 12th as when confirmation hearings will begin in the Senate Judiciary Committee, likely a vote out of committee that week, perhaps a final vote from the United States Senate by October 29th or October 30th. Justice Barrett could assume the duty. Judge Barrett could assume the office of justice before the election. Those are two major stories. How does this impact the Electoral College? Well, this is a cool map, and I want to show you this real quick. Just going to share my screen, just be able to show you a little bit of what we're thinking and how this is going to impact the election. You should see on your screen there the Electoral College. This is a really healthy guide. Remember, the magic number is 270 Electoral College votes. This perhaps is a really solid look at the country, the yellow states, the blue states, the red states, California, of course, considered a deeply blue state. But Nevada and Arizona are the two big states out west that the nation is watching. And I'll explain in a minute. There's a lot of people out there who believe that the suburban counties of Phoenix, Maricopa County in Arizona is a major county, will help turn Arizona blue for the first time in decades. It is a state that has voted conservative for several presidential cycles, and they believe that this will allow Arizona to become a blue state. I'll show you why that's significant in a moment. Let's say Ohio remains a light red state. Perhaps PA remains a light red state, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Remember, the magic number is still 270 electoral votes, and that brings it to 267 for President Donald Trump. The magic number is 270. A lot of people are looking at polls suggesting that Michigan may go blue for Joe Biden. Wisconsin could go blue for Joe Biden. Look at this. Look at where this is heading, 263 to 267. 270, remember, is still the magic number. Look at Nebraska, if you can. See how it's striped? That's because Nebraska and Maine are two states that award its Electoral College votes a bit differently. They award their Electoral College votes based off their congressional districts. So California, all 55 Electoral College votes will likely be going to Joe Biden because the state will vote for Joe Biden. So in the states of Nebraska and Maine, they're the two states in the country that award its Electoral College votes a little differently. It's based off of congressional districts and results in congressional districts. And there's a chance that Biden could win Omaha. That would give him one Electoral College vote in the 2nd Congressional District in Omaha, the 2nd Congressional District. And you'd have this striped scenario play out in Nebraska, in which maybe this district goes blue, but the other districts, which are solidly conservative, go red. And you have a situation that looks like that in the state of Nebraska. Well, look what it does for the Electoral College. Same with Maine. Maybe Joe Biden's able to pull off some victories in Maine. Notice how they are changing colors and a bit different. That still doesn't get any of the candidates to 270 Electoral College votes. And it could potentially come down to the neighbors to the east in California and the state of Nevada, which would, if it went Republican, would get President Trump to 270, or if it went for Joe Biden, would get Joe Biden to 270 Electoral College votes. So obviously there's a lot going in with this map. Everything can change at any given moment. But it is a very fascinating moment with 36 days to go now until this election. And remember, people are already voting. Ballots are already out. There are estimates that north of a million Americans have already cast votes in this presidential election. So between the New York Times story, between the Supreme Court story, between the other stories that will likely be coming out with the first presidential debate happening on Tuesday, there's a lot to consume on social media. There's a lot to consume on your traditional news outlets, and it has a great chance to impact where we stand here with 36 days to go. So in Washington, with the breakdown of the taxes and the Supreme Court and the Electoral College, I'm Joe St. George. Thanks for watching.